Wow. Well, Deputy Premier, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, do you like the job he's doing? Yes. Do you like him taking on the CFMEU? Yes. Did you like his pink suit last night? No. Maybe not. Friends, a little over 4.5 years ago, we were a party picking up the pieces after another election defeat. We were hurting, and we were hurting because yet again an ALP campaign of misinformation, that endless trade union movement money had swallowed us. And we were hurting because we had consigned Queensland to another 4 years of a really bad Labor government. It was a government that would continue to lead the state into despair, youth crime, health, housing, cost of living. But ladies and gentlemen, amongst the hurt, there was still belief. You still believed. We all still believed. And through that belief came hope. As soon as I was elected leader, I set out across Queensland to meet with all of you. We went to your SECs and we discussed what went wrong and, importantly, what we needed to do to rebuild and bring good government to this state. I met you under houses, in farm sheds, at pubs, on a jetty, and in town halls. They were tough conversations, but within them there was hope. Hope that if we could improve our discipline, shift the dial towards the members and deliver Queensland a clear and simple plan, just maybe we could give Queensland the government and the leadership it deserved. One of the messages you delivered loud and clear was the need for party reform. And the process that we embarked on, it wasn't about the people involved. It was about the rules, the way that this organisation was run. And reform we did, led by the father of the party. Lawrence, the changes that you made to devolve powers from the President back to the state executive and the representatives of this membership are something that the history of this party will forever thank you for. And I want to take the opportunity to talk a little bit about Lawrence Springborg. When we needed him, he stood up and agreed to lead the party while we grappled with the reform needed to make us competitive. There is so much more to this story, though. The sense of calm that he instilled in the team, in even the most high-pressured campaign moments, his considered advice when the big decisions needed to be made, his values, his unwavering support. Simply put, ladies and gentlemen, I would not be in this position today if it wasn't for Lawrence Springborg. Thank you, mate. You are a legend of this party. Last night, we had the chance to say thanks to not just Lawrence, but his family for their support in allowing him to serve. And this morning, with your indulgence, I'd like to also thank mine. And I'm joined here today by Tegan, and I'm just so grateful for her support. Our daughters have grown up with all of you in this room. They haven't grown up with Queensland, though. We've done all we can to keep them out of the spotlight, and I thank you all for the way that you have enabled us to do that. To my team, what a team. And they're here today in numbers from throughout the state, and I couldn't be more proud of every single one of them. It's important, ladies and gentlemen, that we remember we only get a chance to serve because of this room, because of you in this room. To see Peter Dutton return here this weekend, to where his journey to becoming the country's best ever Defence Minister began, that makes me proud to be one of you. To see David Littleproud, in many ways a child of this party, grow to be the leader of a solidified and united National Party during the course of that election, a party that during tough times managed to retain all its seats, that makes me proud to be one of you. Our journey started with the need to enable this room to elect the next generation of candidates. We needed to elect candidates that looked and understood and were in touch with their communities. I identified the 14 most marginal seats, and I asked you as members to find more women, more people from multicultural communities, more people from small and family business, and more younger people. You did that. not with quotas. You did that with a desire to deliver a team that could relate to Queenslanders. We put that team forward and Queenslanders backed them. Finally, we knew we could not achieve unity without addressing the obvious issues between the Parliamentary Party and Party HQ. With the assistance of Lawrence and Ben Riley, we rebuilt the relationship not to one of blind agreement, but to one of trust and respect. Friends, I don't expect blind adherence. I love being part of a political movement that fosters a genuine contest of ideas. I believe forums like this convention are the ideal place to have those policy discussions. We've seen in the past some great ideas come to pass, but we've also seen conflicts from these policy discussions spill out into the public realm, and that is entirely counterproductive. There were some occasions in the previous term where there was some unease within the party, and we came to forums just like this, and we asked this room to back us, and back us you did. In doing so, you planted the seed for unity, discipline, the traits that would ultimately carry us to victory. I can't understate the imprimatur that this body gave us to deliver that win. It was the foundation stone that allowed us to spend 4 years listening to Queenslanders and talking about the issues that they wanted change on. The youth crime crisis, the health crisis, the housing crisis, the cost of living crisis. And as an opposition, that was critical. Whenever Queenslanders heard us, we wanted to be focused on the issues consuming their lives, not the latest ideological issues consuming the airwaves. We wanted to be talking about issues that Queenslanders were talking about in their neighbourhoods. Ultimately, we wanted Queenslanders to hear us talking about them and not talking about us. And that is what we did. We were called boring, but we were relentless. No matter how intense the pressure was to get off the plan for a fresh start, we persevered. It was tough, in some cases uncomfortable, and for some of us on the front line, deeply painful, with family members attacked. Despite this, we prevailed. We prevailed and brought an end to a bad government that had stopped listening to Queenslanders. But what does winning an election mean? Sure, it's humbling to deliver a victory after a decade in the wilderness, but what does it really mean? It means we can deliver for Queenslanders. Here are just a few examples where we are, guided by our shared values, delivering for Queensland. Through the efforts of Deb Frecklington and Laura Gerber, we've passed the Making Queensland Safer laws. Adult crime, adult time is law in Queensland. This is one of the key steps to reversing Labor's 10-year process to weaken the laws. Let me explain to you practically what it means. It means if a juvenile murders someone in this state, they will receive minimum mandatory life imprisonment. That's an adult crime. It deserves adult time. That is what Queenslanders voted for, and that is what we are delivering. We know there is still a long way to go, and we will not rest. But ladies and gentlemen, these laws have always been about protecting Queenslanders. That's why we set out to reform. And I'm proud to say, since the introduction of the Making Queensland Safer laws, there's been a 5.7% drop in real terms of victims of crime in the first 6 months of this year. Dan Purdy has delivered more police on the beat in Queensland since the LNP came to government. 350 more, in fact. Let me put that in perspective. That is more than double the increase over the entire term of the last Labor government. We are delivering real change that is bettering the lives of people in this state. Take the improvements Tim Nicholls is making to our health system, for an example. The number of people languishing on the elective surgery waitlist under the Labor government more than doubled over a decade. Thanks to Tim's targeted investment, the number of people waiting for their surgery has fallen across 6 months by the largest margin ever, with a drop of over 6,000 people. That's 10%. That's hip replacements, cataracts. That's your child's ear surgery sooner, and it's happening now in Queensland. We're tackling the rising cost of living. And as a start, David Janetsky got rid of 2 taxes, not 1, 2 taxes. First, a tax to see your doctor, which would have kicked in on the 1st of July. And the other, a tax on first home buyers wanting to build or buy a new home. We've scrapped that tax, and our view and our belief is to get young people aspirational about owning a home again. On housing, our government, through the Deputy Premier, has funded infrastructure projects across the length and breadth of the state to open up new housing developments. $500 million has now been provided to local councils to drive more supply. And that is because the market was left stagnant by our predecessors. Sam O'Connor has reinvigorated community and social housing. It's these kind of projects that mean that our kids and our grandkids can believe in owning a home. We have also taken action to put an end to the lawless, misogynistic and violent environment that had enveloped our construction industry in Queensland by pausing BPIC and calling a commission of inquiry into the CFMEU. But that's not all. The gender clinic review, the DNA lab restoration, community planning input for renewable energy projects, the Prosper 2050 agriculture strategy, the Destination 2045 tourism strategy, education special schools again in Queensland. Repealing treaty and putting that money towards water infrastructure in Indigenous communities. And we've got the Olympic and Paralympic Games back on track. Not just a world-class stadium for Brisbane, faster rail to the Gold Coast where you'll watch Olympic hockey, and a revamp of the Maroochydore CBD and the game-changing wave. But the Games is more than just the southeast. And we have made it about all of Queensland, and that's why there is a real sense of momentum that we do have a plan and we are getting on with it. Football in Cairns, sailing in Townsville and the Whitsundays, cricket in Mackay, archery in Maryborough, equestrian in Toowoomba. I think that's all of them, isn't it? Rowing in Rocky, Donna, rowing in Rocky. It's just a few of the examples of the momentum that's been able to be developed by applying our values to the issues that concern Queenslanders and not being distracted by the ideological debates that mean nothing to the young tradie who's had her tools stolen or the family waiting to see a specialist to get dad back up on his feet. Friends, in government there is no greater responsibility than protecting Queensland kids. Our predecessors never took that step. The safety of Queensland kids was not a priority to the former government. Under Labor, the Blue Care card system crumbled. Critical information was locked in silos. The child safety system was overwhelmed. In Labor's leadership vacuum, in the silence, in the inaction, hid monsters, predators, pedophiles. The Labor Party can never claim they weren't warned. They were. From opposition, we repeatedly sounded the alarm on the failings and they didn't listen. No system will be perfect, but I have no doubt there are children who are victims of insidious crimes who should have been protected. But friends, now in government with your support, we have put the safety of children on the national agenda. Attorney General Frecklington has led the national charge on the need to do more while delivering a robust blue card system and new reportable conduct scheme. Minister John Paul Langbrook has led the national charge on the need for the education and childcare sectors to do more while also delivering a fully funded early childcare regulator. Minister Amanda Cam has fought and secured a commission of inquiry into the child safety system because she believes we must do more. And thanks to your advocacy, change is afoot and there is a national conversation about the need to do more. And we must do more. Victims are demanding action. And we can't just wait for Canberra, so we are acting now. Today, I can announce this week in Parliament, for the first time in this state, our government will introduce new laws to create a public child sex offender register. We promised this before the election, and today I'm going to reveal some of the details. The new register consists of 3 tiers. The first will be accessed by a new public web page, the Queensland Community Protection and Child Sex Offender website. If you're a reportable offender who has failed to comply with your reporting obligations, if you are under a dangerous prisoner supervision order, or if you're hiding from police, your photo, your name, your age, they'll be publicly available to Queenslanders. If you commit hideous crimes and you try to hide, Queenslanders deserve to know who you are and where you are to keep our kids safe. The second tier will allow Queenslanders to apply for images of high-risk reportable offenders in their local area. Parents have a right to protect their kids, and they have a right to be vigilant to the risks in their community. And the third tier, a new parent and guardian disclosure scheme. Carers will be able to apply to police to ascertain whether an adult having unsupervised contact with their child is a current reportable offender. Put simply, it comes down to this. We believe the rights of victims and the rights of parents come before the rights of offenders and the rights of pedophiles. Before the election, we promised we would pass this calendar year, and we will do that. And in the coming days, we'll release a little bit more information about this register, including new offences and safeguards to prohibit people misusing that information. But in this important moment, I want to acknowledge the advocacy of Bruce and Denise Morecambe. They are incredible Queenslanders who, from unfathomable pain, have fought for change. Today I announce, in honour of Bruce and Denise and their efforts, we will call this new laws Daniel's Law. Queenslanders voted for change, and we're going to deliver that change for parents and for children and for Bruce and Denise and for Daniel. That's what it means to be in government. Being able to do those things. It's about making change for the better. It's a massive responsibility that must be treasured, but most importantly, wielded in a calm and methodical way. Friends, while we have achieved a lot in a short time, there's so much more to do. The impacts of 10 years of a really, really bad government can't be repaired overnight. We've all learned the lessons of the past. With each change, we need to ensure we take Queenslanders with us. This will take time, more time than just one term. To right Labor's wrongs, it is imperative we ensure this government is a multi-term government. So how do we do that? First, we do what we say we were going to do. We must take action to address youth crime, health, housing, cost of living. We've taken steps in this area, but we aren't satisfied and we've got a long way to go. Secondly, we must replicate what we did to win in the first place. We must continue to talk about the issues that are confronting Queenslanders, the ones that impact the choices they make every day. We must not be distracted by ideological issues. We cannot be distracted by internal squabbles, and we cannot be captured by those who seek to divide us. We've got to remember why this party was formed. For small and family business dragged down by regulation. For those who just want to own a home. For those who want to live in a society where the legal framework keeps them safe. For those who wish for a government to get out of their lives and provide reliable healthcare, roads, schools, and the basic needs of affordable electricity and water. We are also the party of the environment. As Conservatives, it is one of our driving forces that the beautiful Queensland countryside should be preserved for future generations to enjoy. We are also nation builders who aim to create opportunities for our citizens to thrive. The land of opportunity for those who come across the seas to share those boundless plains. We must push back against those who come to this place and don't wish to contribute, or worse, undermine our values. But we can't allow a failure to plan as an excuse to push an anti-immigration agenda. Without immigration, Queensland would be a vastly different state, and in my opinion, a much poorer one. Our party leadership would be different. Both the Lord Mayor and myself are beneficiaries of brave family members who took a chance to move their family to a new country. Susan Lay is a migrant herself. Think of all the towns and the industries around Queensland which would not exist without industrious people like my nunnu or Adrian's father, who came here and helped build a state. On Thursday night, Paul Scarr, Fiona Simpson and I hosted 450 people from multicultural communities, the leaders in their communities. As I listened to the conversations and I heard the rumble in the room, I thought about the central themes of the night: faith, family, freedom. These are our people, aspirational Australians, and we owe it to them to be a good government and plan properly and deliver and allow opportunity for them and their children. We must focus on... Thank you. We must focus on strengthening this body, broadening our appeal and delivering for those people. There is a reason why Mr Albanese was returned to the Lodge with a primary vote of just 34.5%. A plethora of well-meaning right-wing campaign groups and minor parties fractured our vote. The more we tried to appease them, the further we got from the middle ground of Australian politics, who shifted their vote elsewhere. In the Queensland election, through the prism of LNP values, we addressed the issues that mattered to the majority of Queenslanders. And Queenslanders rewarded us with a primary vote of 41.5% and our two-party preferred vote of 54%, and that was a swing of 7%. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a rare opportunity to introduce a generation of Queenslanders to how a calm and methodical LNP government can deliver a better future for them. But I need your help again. We need all hands on deck. We need you talking to your neighbours, your colleagues, your friends, your family members, even random strangers. We need you talking about the kitchen table issues Queenslanders are talking about and the solutions we're putting forward. We could not have won the 24 election without support and discipline of our membership, and we won't win it again in 28 without it again. As a political movement, we must continue to demonstrate to Queenslanders we are worthy of the great responsibility of government. This won't be an easy challenge. No centre-right government has been re-elected in Queensland since 1986. But I believe with the help of everybody in this room, we can show Queenslanders that our government is one which will continue to deal with the issues that are important to them. A government which cares about the safety, security and happiness for all Queenslanders, no matter where they live or where they come from. A government which prioritises delivering the services which allow Queenslanders to live their lives. If we, as a movement, can demonstrate this to Queensland, in 3 years' time, we will earn another opportunity to change the lives of Queenslanders for the better, for the long term, for everyone. And friends, that is the true definition of success. The success we were all searching for. Under houses, at pubs, in farm sheds, on a jetty, and in those town halls all those years ago. Thank you very, very much for your support.
LNP members, how good is it to be in government? And for a special time, I'm going to seek a seconder from an unusual spot. Name and party unit, please, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Lawrence Springborg, outgoing President of the LNP. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you will grant me this indulgence, because I'm going to use my presidential prerogative for one last time. And this is the most significant thing that I will do in the 2 hours left to me before I hand over to our very capable incoming President Doug Hawkes and his team. It's a very great privilege for me to stand here and to second the report from our fantastic Premier. Premier, you have and you carry forward the baton of hope for our side of politics, not only here in Queensland, where we are the most successful of all of our entities in Australia, but you also carry forward the baton of hope for our side of politics across Australia. You and your fantastic team have given us reason to believe. You have restored for us hope and faith in the political process. You have delivered for us a dividend for the hard work of the membership of this party, who have worked tirelessly over many years to get your team elected so they can put in place the values which we hold so dear, and you are doing that. You are repaying the dividend in spades, the time, effort, energy and resources that we have dedicated to you and your team. We've always believed in you, sir. I've always believed in you, because you're a person of extraordinary passion. You're a person of amazing energy. You're a person of great decency, you're a person of extraordinary focus, and you have an amazing ability to be able to galvanise a team of capable people around you. And you have done that. And Queensland is so much better because what you have been able to do. Premier, it was one of the greatest privileges of my life to be able to support you and to be able to answer the call which you made to me a number of years ago to return for a little while to assist. And I said to you, sir, for 4 years and 4 years no longer, and that 4 years finishes in about 2 hours' time. We now look forward, ladies and gentlemen, to our Premier and his team, taking forward the values and the efforts of the hard work that we have put into creating the platform to ensure, as your representative, where it means in the halls of power, so that that hope, that aspiration, that enthusiasm that we have for a different future can now be delivered. It's been a great privilege to be here. It's probably been the greatest privilege of my political life in many ways to close out with proposing this, the seconding of your report, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, can you just again join with me in thanking the Premier for his excellent report. Thank you.